Federal judge, Trump appointee, decides to block the EPA from doing exactly what they're supposed to do, protecting people and the environment. Let's put it up full mass. Federal Judge James D. Cain, Trump appointee, blocked the Environmental Protection Agency and the Department of Justice from enforcing Title VI of the Civil Rights Act, disparate impact requirements against Louisiana agencies. The judge ruled against residents of a stretch of parishes along the Mississippi River known as Cancer Alley, okay? An epicenter of petrochemical manufacturing in the US, and the people living there disproportionately have higher rates of cancer. Facts, okay? Last year, Louisiana Governor Jeff Landry, a Republican, then the state attorney general sued the EPA to block a civil rights investigation into potential disparate impacts in the largely Black area of the state, arguing the probe exceeded statutory authority. The agency closed 3 civil rights complaints weeks later, but in his Tuesday ruling, Cain said existing regulations also constitute federal overreach. In the preliminary injunction, he wrote that the EPA and DOJ are barred from, quote, imposing or enforcing any disparate impact based requirements against the state of Louisiana or any state agency under Title VI. Well, damn, that means the federal government has no authority. That's what that would mean, which is insane. The federal government has zero authority? None? There's more. Cain wrote, quote, pollution does not discriminate, end quote. Yeah, it's the people that, I don't think you understand how this works, sir. And that if a decision maker has to consider race to decide on enforcement, it has indeed participated in racism. Cain's ruling comes the same day as a report from the National Minority Equality Forum, which found that 56% of the communities of color are cited with 3 kilometers of a site producing carcinogenic waste. The town of Reserve in St. John, the Baptist parish, has cancer risk about 50 times the national average. Let's put them up, Earthjustice. They filed the original Title VI complaint on behalf of St. John, the Baptist parish residents in 2022. You're looking at Sam Sankar. So Sam is the senior vice president of programs, blasted the ruling in a statement saying, and I quote, the court's decision to issue this injunction is bad enough. But what's worse is that instead of fixing the discriminatory permitting programs that have created sacrifice zones like Cancer Alley, Louisiana is fighting tooth and nail to keep them in place. The public health crisis in St. John the Baptist Parish shows us why we need Title VI. See, EPA needs to be able to use our civil rights laws to stop states from running permitting programs that perpetuate environmental injustice. There you go, all right? Now, there has to be a response from the current administration on this that is vigorous, that actually shows they're willing to be passionate and fight tooth and nail, just like Louisiana. But I doubt you will see that, all right? Thoughts?
Yeah, so I live in Houston, which is also along the Gulf Coast. We're not that far from Louisiana and the Mississippi Delta. Oil and gas is huge around here. The people who live in these areas regularly drive by oil plants and refineries, and a lot of us earn our living working in the oil and gas industry. It's just a way of life around here. So you would think that they're extra vigilant around here about oil spills and leaks and toxic, hazardous byproducts in general, but they are not. It's always just a matter of time until there's another plant explosion or another black plume of carcinogens traveling across the city. We've seen that so many times. And at least in Houston, I can say that very little gets done about it in terms of preventing these incidents from happening in the future, let alone any kind of reparations or assistance for the people who are the most directly affected. And in Houston, the people who live along the Houston Ship Channel, which is where most of the refineries are, they tend to be Black and brown people, and their life expectancies are decades less than those people who live in the more affluent and the more white communities just 30 minutes to the west. So protecting those communities is not a priority. And we know that it's not, because if it was, they would do things about it. They know about the dangers of these
Yep.
refineries. They know about all these carcinogens that are being pumped into the land and into the air and into the water supply. And they're not doing anything about it because profits are always more important than people.
Especially when the people are people of color.